Let's stay at the Big Ten there. Recap Penn State's pro day yesterday. Trio of possible first-round talent there. Linebacker Micah Parsons. He opted out in 2020, but if people forgot what he can do, all you got to do is turn on that film from 2019. There's a reason why he's probably the top defensive player this year's draft, and also showed off that speed yesterday. What did you see?
I saw a grown man out there, 6'3" and 246, I think it's what he was. Ran a sub 4.4 according to the Big Ten Network, and he ran a sub 4.4 according to an NFL team I spoke with that had him on the clock. Good heavens, that is impressive. So, right, you see a linebacker in today's NFL that maybe weighs 225, 230 that runs something like a 4.4. Devin Bush, Devin White, for example. Micah Parsons is jacked. He is a grown man, and he will knock you out, as you pointed out in that 2019 tape. Now, there are some off-field issues, and I was talking to the NFL team about that yesterday, and they're mostly immaturity concerns. So we'll see what that means, whether he slips down the draft board a little bit. It won't be a lot. It's just a matter of which player you're getting in terms of, is he ready to play some football now, or there's immaturity issues to deal with. But at the end of the day, what he did yesterday at that pro day is just mind-boggling, even by today's college athletes going to the NFL standards.
Yeah, you can see there the top LB prospect heading into the draft. You can see him maybe, I don't know, with that speed, maybe the top 10, top 5 pick now. You don't find guys like that in LB running a 4.344. What about Jayson Oweh, though, also? He clocked in at 4.344, 6'5", 257. Did record a sack last season, but you can't forget about that speed there, R-Dub.
No, and there's some context around him not recording a sack last season. He was fantastic against the run, one of the best run defenders off the edge in college football, according to Pro Football Focus. And you watch him play, you see the explosiveness. The year before, he did have 5 sacks, so we know he can get after the quarterback. And oh, by the way, Brandon, he hasn't been playing football since his junior year in high school. That's when he began. So he is relatively new to the game. So you're projecting on upside what you saw in terms of physicality of that pro day and what you saw in terms of physicality and speed during the season. And I feel like he's going to be a Bud Dupree type player, and it's going to take 2 or 3 years for him to hit his stride. And once he does, he's going to be unstoppable because he does a lot of things well. He's just not quite yet that finished product. But if you're working with someone who ran a sub 4.4 and is 257, that's a great starting point. And you know if he's only going to get better, even all the more reason to take potentially a late first-round flyer on him.
They do have an offensive option there, Pat Freiermuth. He didn't participate on Thursday, of course, still recovering from that shoulder surgery. His season cut to just 4 games, though. Is he still that number 2 tight end option for you when we're looking at the draft behind Florida scout Pitts?
Yeah, he is, Brandon. Yeah, so he ran some routes yesterday. He didn't run the 40. He didn't lift weights because of the shoulder injury you mentioned. So he was able to show off some of the things he can do. But we already know what Pat Freiermuth can do. He's a fantastic blocker, but he's not always in line. He sometimes is out in the slot. The offense ran through him last year, so that tells you how important he is to what they wanted to do there. He does a really good job on the short and intermediate routes. He's not a guy that's going to outrun you down the field like a Kyle Pitts, but he feels like a traditional tight end in the sense that he can block and line up in line, but also the new age tight end that you can move around and you can create matchup problems. I think he'll be healthy in time for the season. I don't think that will affect his draft stock. Right now, he's my number 2 tight end, and I feel like he's going to be a second-round pick.
All right, a lot of those guys, of course, scattered through that first round of your latest mock draft as per usual. What number are we at now, real quick?
Next week will be number 30, the big 3-0, Brandon.
Boy. All right. Okay. All right. We'll see how it keeps going. Ryan Wilson is always tapping in. Appreciate your time, my friend. Big Six Podcast. That's where you can catch our dub, and the fellas always breaking it down. Of course, a lot of movement. Guys are still getting signed to those free agent deals, and we'll see how this pans out. Guys always tapping in. Download, subscribe, and give them a listen.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.